Hello and welcome to the Fog channel for another FIFA 22 video. And yeah, I know it's definitely been a while. The year is now 2022, so Happy New Year everyone. Hope 2022 is a great year and I hope it brings a lot of happiness to everyone's lives. God knows the world needs it. Now, does FIFA 22 have scripting and DDA? Is EA using dynamic difficulty adjustment and scripting technology to control certain outcomes inside FIFA 22? And this is exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. And I really want you guys to let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this particular topic. But before you do, please make sure that you watch to the very end of the video so that you get the full context of what it is I'm talking about. It has been definitely quite some time since I last made FIFA content, so I thought, what better time to do it than the beginning of a brand new year? And so, in this video, I want to discuss the alleged scripting that apparently, as per EA, doesn't actually exist and never has existed in any FIFA titles in the past. And this is despite EA actually owning a patent for technology that has everything to do with scripting and DDA. As you can see on screen here, this patent, which is titled Dynamic Difficulty Adjustment, funnily enough, can very easily be Googled. You can literally Google EA patent scripting and it'll come up. Now, I've read quite a bit of it, but it's a very long read, so I'm not going to read to you. But if you are interested, you know how to find it. It was filed by EA in 2016 and it was granted in 2018. It has an expiration date of 2036. And it's also only fair to state here that EA have said in the past multiple times that whilst they own this patent, they don't and have never used it in any of the games that they make. But I do honestly find that quite hard to believe, as I'm sure most of you do too. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did buy FIFA 22 on PC over the Christmas sale. I got it very cheap, and I know I said before that I wouldn't be buying it because the PC version is basically a scam and it doesn't come with any of the new technology that EA added for next gen, but I just had to, okay? It was cheap, I wanted to make videos about FIFA, and if I'm not playing it, well, that makes it quite hard to make videos about it. So basically, here we are. So back to the question, is there scripting in FIFA 22? Does EA use DDA in FIFA 22? And by the way, DDA, if you don't know, stands for Dynamic Difficulty Adjustment, which, as I said before, is pretty much the name of the actual patent. Probably a coincidence, right? In any case, continuing on, last year or the year before last, whenever it was, a lawsuit was actually filed against EA where these three guys had found what they believed to be evidence of scripting in Ultimate Team. And in a nutshell, what they were basically arguing was that the game would automatically become more difficult in order to purposely frustrate the player, so that the player would then head over to the Ultimate Team pack store and, out of frustration, buy player packs with real-world money to try and improve their team, making it then easier to win more games. Which, in all fairness, it is an argument that at the end of the day does make a lot of sense. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective here, the lawsuit was dropped not long after being filed. And this happened after EA offered to take these guys to their headquarters and allow them to speak to their developers, and they would answer any questions and they would show them how the game is made and explain exactly how and why the technology works and how there's no scripting and DDA in the game, and soon after the case was dropped. Now, I'm very sure that trying to prove that there is scripting or DDA in FIFA would be no easy task. For years, we've all been talking about it because, we all kind of see it and we all feel it when we play it. However, it's so difficult to put into words. It's so hard to explain it to anyone in a way that makes any kind of good sense. And I'd imagine it'd be even worse and even more difficult to prove it. Now, although I'm completely speculating here, by the way, and again, this is just a theory, I do think that once these guys went up to the EA headquarters, they were somewhat brainwashed into doubting themselves and ultimately realized and were led to believe that they would never be able to win and beat EA in a court of law in this particular field because it's so complicated and it's such an intricate and difficult thing to explain and prove to others, especially when you have to go up against the very developers that code the game and are fluent in this language and ultimately use the technology. And obviously, they also have full knowledge and access to all the parts within the system that they use to code and develop their games. And I believe that these guys just in the end just decided to drop the case, which was a real shame. But I do think they got scared that they would lose an incredible amount of money on court fees and lawyers and they wouldn't get it back, and they would be in the end very out of pocket. So yeah, I think EA purposely planted seeds of doubt in their mind, which ultimately led them to drop the lawsuit. Now, as far as my opinion goes, not that that matters to anyone, but still, I do think there is scripting in FIFA 22. I think there has been scripting inside FIFA games for a very long time, maybe even before 2016, when they filed the patent application. And at the end of the day, the reason why I believe that there is scripting is because most people that play FIFA can feel it in the game. If it was just me and no one else, then sure. But when 95% of the community has been talking about it for years because they all feel the same strange things while they play, it's probably because it is there. As they say, there's no smoke without fire. Now, I completely understand why they would use it in something like career mode. It pretty much has to be coded with scripting, right? Because otherwise, when you played against Manchester City, it would be just as hard or just as easy as playing against Norwich. So this DDA allows the AI to make a distinction between a big team who are meant to be a difficult opponent and the small team that is meant to be an easier opponent. I get that. Totally makes sense. I might not agree with it, because it really should all be down to each team's players and their stats. And what I mean by that is, if Man City have Kevin De Bruyne, who is of course much better than any of the Norwich players, that alone should really be the difference between teams, you know, the player stats. But I do understand that it still wouldn't give the most realistic and authentic career experience, and therefore the use of scripting and DDA has to be used to connect the rest of the dots required to then, in the end, give us a more realistic distinction between team quality, ultimately making career mode more authentic and lifelike. But at the end of the day, the use of the same system for something like Ultimate Team is basically just outright scammy. If it is true, then it's just extremely greedy. And if it is true, I do really hope that it comes to light one day and that EA are held accountable for scamming and manipulating children, young adults, and adults alike into spending their hard-earned cash on fake digital player cards so that EA can make their billions at the end of each year, because, you know, they're not rich enough. You've probably seen this, but nonetheless, I still want to show it. There was a video that came out on Reddit in October, not long after the game was launched, where this guy was playing squad battles, which is a mode in Ultimate Team. And this guy explains that there seems to be some sort of force field around the ball here that basically stops him from getting near it, so he can't get the ball back. And you can see in the clip that the opponent ends up scoring. And even though I totally believe him 100%, even though I've had the same weird experiences happen to me in game, it's still impossible to tell if it's true or not. And because of that, EA can continue to get away with it. Well, only if it's true, obviously. They're only getting away with it if it's true. Because if it's not true, and EA are being honest, well then we're all crazy and we're all paranoid. And that's basically it for me, I think, on this one. Please don't forget to comment below what your thoughts are on all this scripting malarkey. I'll probably do some sort of gameplay review update at some point soon. So if you're interested and you're not subscribed, then please go ahead and subscribe. If you're already subscribed, then make sure the bell icon is on, because you'll be notified when I bring out a new video. Thank you all very much for watching. I will be seeing you guys very soon. Goodbye.